we're actually going to play them side by side. So here's Cory Booker and Elon Musk. Same kind of thing. Looks very similar to me. Again, just to be clear, I do not think Cory Booker was doing a Nazi salute. I don't think Elon Musk is doing a Nazi salute. I think this whole thing is very silly. I think they're just showing appreciation to their supporters. I also think it's weird and frankly conspiratorial to think that there are these secret Nazis in our government just biding their time until they can flash pro-Hitler hand gestures. However, I'm sadly not at all surprised that exactly 0 mainstream publications have accused Booker of being a Nazi for doing the exact same thing as Elon Musk.
Well, what I saw is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, people specifically said that Musk was doing a Nazi salute, not these publications. So I know there's always an attack on the media, but they did cover it and say, what was Elon Musk doing? I saw many outlets today covering what Musk had to say about Cory Booker. So I think it's the same type of coverage. I believe in consistency across the political spectrum. So we should have outrage or not for both or none. I also do not think either one of them were a Nazi salute. I do think that, when we're comparing the gestures back and forth, then we're losing the real conversation, which is that we're cheapening the history of what's happened in the Holocaust by using these terms every single day. I mean, Gestapo, fascism, Nazi, you're just like Hitler. Like, how many times have we heard this in the last, let's say, 5 years alone? And I think that there are people, you have to remember, there are people that are still alive that have, dire circumstances and consequences that happen to their life because of the Holocaust, and people who are still suffering with what, it remains of their experience from that. And I think every time we talk about it in the news in this way, and not us, I'm saying like when we're covering with such outrage, when Elon Musk does this, when Alexandria AOC does this, it's just like, do you really think that there is some hidden agenda to actually, be just like Hitler in the United States? Because I really believe there's a smarter conversation we can have about which policies you don't like without going to the most extreme degree and kind of just not worrying about who you're offending throughout that whole process.
Oh, exactly. I think it's so tiring to people that it's Nazi this, fascist this, Hitler this, and on and on and on, and it just cheapens our discourse. I think the tone of the media coverage has been a little bit different in the two instances, and I'm always paying close attention to this because I see it all the time. It's almost a kind of cryptography. We had this with the OK hand sign too. Do you remember this?
Yes.
People saying that that's a Nazi gesture. And like, okay, maybe like 2 people on Earth mean it that way.
But the rest of
the
world.
vast majority of people have no idea what you're talking about. So then you'll put yourself in this very unhealthy for you headspace where then you're projecting onto people ill intent when they have no idea what you're talking about. And you can often, and I think this has to do with to some extent disguising hateful language or inappropriate language that we Lord Voldemort it, you know what I mean? We make it he who must not be named, and we make it sound scarier than it actually is. I think that's true of some of this iconography stuff, like and there's the secret tattoos. It's a tattoo of a cross. It's actually a Nazi tattoo. No, it's probably just a cross tattoo. There's a lot of that makes us mistrustful that the media totally plays into. But to be clear, I think it's a form of waving to your supporters. It's not Hitler doesn't own like raising your hand and pointing it at people. That'd be absurd, right? And why would we want to concede that ground? Why would we want to say, agree that everyone who is doing that is secretly a Nazi? I want to resist that. It's bad.
And I think we all know that the Holocaust is not a metaphor for any political point. But what happens on both Democratic and Republican side is that what exists on social media is echo chambers chambers of people that want to hear and want to prove their points. So if you do look for any signs of Elon Musk being a Nazi, or if you look for Cory Booker being a Nazi, you can find that to be proven falsely on Twitter or X or Instagram. You can find somebody to echo your thoughts because it's just a bunch of people aggregating information that want to hear from each other.
Well, all government and any restriction on my rights whatsoever is fascism. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Both sides can be proven. Exactly. Both sides can find what they're looking for in there. And I think I think part of the problem is where we are today when we talk about politics. We go to certain sources to kind of hear what we're looking to find and search certain things when we're looking to find that information. And so part of what I'm excited about is that there are so many voices to the table, but at the same time, when those voices are not vetted, which is why I appreciate real journalism, then we have a lot of conversations in the ethos about people doing like egregious things, and really they're just waving to people that came out in thousands in droves to support them.
Yeah, this is a popular idea that there's a lot of ideological self-reinforcement that is made possible by social media. That
You agree?
Kind of. I don't know that I actually do agree, because there's a lot of. It's more chaotic and ungate-kept on social media than it was before. I think maybe there was a less wide range of opinions previously that you were allowed to like even have, and so what looks like ideological self-reinforcement now is actually a greater diversity of thought that you didn't used to give, because it was like it was pretend disagreement, the kind that you had on cable news on TV or in newspapers, where it's mostly people, affluent people who all kind of agree, pretending.
Now
that
it's just
actual debate was
unhinged,
happening.
anything goes
Now it's
type of
unhinged and
disagreement.
anything goes. Yes.
Okay.
And some of that is bad, and some of that is, I don't know. Sometimes the unhinged, crazy people are right about something, so they have a point, or they should be listened to.
And sometimes they're conspiracy theorists talking about
Sometimes, but sometimes
politicians being Nazis.
Sometimes the mainstream people are conspiracy theorists too. Good morning and welcome to Rising. Happy Tuesday. We've got another great show for you today. I'm again joined by Lindsay Granger. Nice to see you.
Happy to be with you. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling just fine. How are you feeling?
I'm doing well. I want to know what's on your radar. Hopefully we'll keep it bright and cheery. Let's hear it.
Well, we'll see. It's periodically entertaining to check in with our friends at CNN, that's what I think, where the commentators are constantly inveighing against President Donald Trump and his policies, despite the fact that many of his policies are popular. They poll well. In fact, they poll well according to CNN. That's right, Harry Enton, CNN's pollster, who, in all fairness, does a terrific job, is out with another poll delivering some sobering results for Democrats and the mainstream media. You ready for this? Despite the incoherence of the tariff plan that is not broadly popular, if you poll the tariff plan specifically, voters still trust Trump, Donald Trump, on the economy more so than Democrats. Trump is up 8 points over the Dems. Watch this.
Yeah, you would think after all of the waves, Kate Baldwin, after the last few months, the first 5 months of the Donald Trump presidency, right, the first 4 months of the Donald Trump presidency, that you expect that Democrats would have this massive lead on the economy. It ain't so. It ain't so. The party that is closest to your economic views, in November of 2023, it was the Republicans by 11 points. Now it's still within that range, still within that margin of error. Plus 8-point advantage for the Republican Party.
Here's a little bit more from that clip.
How is that possible, Democrats? How is that possible after all the recession fears, after the stock market's been doing all of this, after all the tariffs that Americans are against, and Republicans still hold an 8-point lead on the economy? Are you kidding me?
Oh, Enton goes on to note, it's not just CNN's poll. According to a new Ipsos poll, respondents said the GOP has a better economic plan, actually, than the Democrats by a margin of 12 points. That's an increase from 1 year ago. It's getting better for them. Trump's GOP is doing even better on the central question, the state of the economy, than ever before. Now, what this suggests to me is that for all the hand-wringing from the mainstream media about Trump, tariffs, trade, etc., voters just don't trust the Democrats on the economy whatsoever. Maybe they don't know what Democrats stand for, or maybe they remember the Biden economy. They don't think of it fondly. Whatever it is, it's going to be a major problem for the Dems in 2026 midterms. If Trump can propose tariffs, remove tariffs, tariff harder, tariff softer, back on tariffs, back off, have various members of his administration disagree about the tariffs and contradict each other on camera, and still retain the fundamental trust of the American people, what are the Democrats even doing? They're doomed. They're doomed, Lindsay. I'm so sorry. They're doomed.
I know you're so happy about this news. I couldn't believe what I was watching yesterday. This only tells me one thing.
Yeah.
That GOP branding works even without results, right?
Yeah.
So there are plenty anti-consumer policies, including the tariffs, and somehow the GOP still has a hold on the idea, which is really an idea that they handle the economy better. Actually, when Biden was president in 2023, the unemployment rate was 3.4%. What is it right now? 4.2. So it's up underneath Trump. And so that's what I think people need to understand, is to look at what's going on. Look, do you actually feel better? Don't compare it to Trump's first term. Compare it to right now. Do you feel better than last year, or exactly the same?
People
or
saying
has
yes.
it gotten worse?
People saying yes.
No one's
they are
shopping.
better.
No, I don't believe that it's gotten better.
It's the inflation of it all, don't you think? Inflation is